Only one more episode left of Gushing Over Magical Girls, and I'm dreading it. After episode 12 of Gushing Over Magical Girls, honestly, it's hitting me more and more that the series is going to go away, and we don't have an announcement for another season yet. It seems like it's doing really well. I want another season. What's to come is absolutely bonkers, and I want to see it. There's a side of me that's almost kind of annoyed by Gushing Over Magical Girls and how they're kind of shifting things around like crazy. Like this episode, the second half of this episode, that's chapter 42. The first part of the episode was 21. They jumped to almost where the manga's at right now in order to have something to fit into this episode. So it's like they're skipping all over the place, which they've done before. They kind of grabbed a lot of stuff from the later part to kind of throw into the series, which honestly what they're doing is they're trying to fill it out because, yes, if they do get into the next arc, things get crazy. And it's like I almost figure that they don't want to get into that yet. And that does have me hopeful that if second season comes around, that's going to be extremely insane. Like, if they do a second season of this series, hopefully they get a better budget. If they do another season of the series, I think a lot of people are going to be really shocked where this series goes because it gets, like, super edgy and dark and stuff, and it's crazy. And I want to see it now. And they could have, if they didn't put all these parts from the later part into here, they could have gotten to quite a bit of it, but I'm not sure if they'd be able to find a stopping point. I think they could, but it would be very anticlimactic. Like, I think how they kind of set things up, it actually works out perfect because you have the face-off against Enormita. Lord Enormi's out of the picture now, and I think what they'll end up doing for the 13th episode is probably do a beach episode because technically 23 and 24 is the beach part. And so they could technically do that because it's right up next. They'll just skip 22, which is a heartbreak because 22 is super spicy. But I think it would probably fit to do the beach part and just kind of wrap up the season. But I really do hope that they at least get a second season so that we can start getting into the later stuff. Start getting into these characters and where they possibly go. But I think that'll probably be their closing. Unless they like grab a bunch of later stuff again just to kind of fill in the finale or something like that. But anyways, that all aside, my predictions for the finale aside and my hopes for a second season aside, this episode itself was really great. And despite my issues that I was having with the last episode and the quality dropping and dropping and dropping, this episode looked good. Yes, it wasn't like crazy animation or anything like that. It looked good. Like there was nothing that like stood out to me like, ooh, that didn't look right. Or, oh man, that pose was a little bit off. That character was wonky. Yeah, that's a lot of sliding steals. It just did well in kind of presenting what it was doing. The little combat sequence with the kaiju, everything kind of just worked well. So hats off to them to kind of keep things together despite the fact that it seems like they either have production issues or, I don't know, maybe time. I'm not sure. But anyways, yes. Really good episode. I think the whole giant segment was just a lot of fun. They did a really good job of kind of mixing in the other characters into the picture, just completely embarrassing the hell out of Magenta. But no, the first part of this episode, the first half of this episode, getting into what Magia Brazier wants to do next, which I think is important, establishing that. Now that she's the leader of the organization, what does she want to do? And yes, it does kind of seem like, oh, well, I just want to, by the base at the end of the episode, I just want to fight them, beat them up a little bit, and then run away. They're going to fight us, so we need to figure out what we need to do, and that is to just beat them up a little bit and then leave. That's all Brazier wants to do. She doesn't want to take over the world. She doesn't want to do anything else. She just wants to mess with them a little bit. That's all she wants to do. But yeah, opening up the episode and having like essentially everybody got titles from Leopard. It's like Idol, like Aspiring Idol Association, the Sneaky People Association, Catnap Girl, and then yes, the fandom of Brazier organization is me. That was a lot of fun. But then yes, going into Brazier just kind of being upset because even though she got her revenge with Lord Enormi, it didn't bring back the Magical Girls. Now it hasn't established that the Magical Girls die, which was kind of my thought process there. I think that, and the only reason that Brazier is so upset is that it seems implied that they just took those little gems that transforms them, just like Utena has and everybody else has. They have these little stars. Those are the things that transform them. And so I think what they kind of implied there is like with Azul. At some point with Azul, which again wasn't in the manga, she cracked her little emblem that helps her transform, which does sort of answer a question mark I had in the previous episode in the idea of, did Vena give them their powers? Because again, she said that to Enormi, I let you borrow an abundance of my power. You never got stronger. These girls, Utena and Kiwi and Korisu, they actually got more powerful. They're tapping into something that's making them stronger. And you didn't do that. And again, I think the Magical Girls are going to be a similar case because their power is similar. They both have these transforming things, and there's a power that's innate within them. And Utena has figured out how to kind of tap into that. But it does imply with this episode, because Utena never changed, that yes, she does at least need that thing from Vena to transform. It's just beyond that, I guess, is Utena's own innate abilities. Her ability to, yes, seek to punish things and mess with things is what makes her stronger. So that was interesting to kind of see that whole thing kind of unfold. Yeah, like how Loco was going to mention the idea that Azul got new powers. Like, we have to be careful because she has a new power. And then literally Bazer's like, no spoilers. Shut up. I want to see it for myself. No. And it's like she's literally playing it like these are magical girls on a TV show. And she doesn't want to see the spoilers. She wants to see it for herself. It's super funny. But yes, she decides that she wants to go out and try to find the magical girls. Go strolling off to find... No, I like how she's depressed at first. And then Kiwi like literally comes up there. Do you want some opai? Will this make you feel better? I go, opai. And then the entire time, Alice is like, Codice is like just like attaching to her and sleeping the whole time. Like, that's like a new shtick, is that despite the fact that it seems like Kiwi is always like torturing Codice is always like napping and leaning on Kiwi, and Kiwi's always responding to Baser whenever she does. It's a kind of funny little dynamic there. But yeah, getting into the magical girls, they're rebuilding the city. Utena goes over there, sees the golems, tries to help them out. And then, yeah, she sees that Azul is fine. I guess in the mindset of Utena, that's a big thing. Like, she, again, felt that she broke Azul. She did something terrible to her. She pushed her too far. She's going to give up on being a magic girl, basically. And it's only until Azul kind of, like, restates this idea of, like, we're supposed to protect the people. We failed. This is our responsibility. This is our fault. We were supposed to protect them. That's what we do. And it's like, it's something that Utena so badly wanted to hear. Like, oh, yes, the sense of justice is still there. She's still fine. She's so happy. And then, yes, goes to give her a massage. And yeah, I guess it's sort of implying here that Azul's figuring it out. And I think we've done a little bit of that here and there with different characters and them almost seemingly figuring it out. Figuring out the identity of the other people. And here, again, whenever they transform, it's supposed to keep their identity a secret. I think it's one of those things where it's not like us, where we see these characters and go, how would you not know that's the same person? It's like the Superman thing. Why is when he put on the glasses, suddenly it's like, whoa, suddenly I don't know who you are. What happened to my friend? Superman, what are you doing here? It's not like that whole thing. Like somebody right in front of you puts on the glasses and suddenly you don't know who they are. Even though they look exactly the same, even though they talk the same, even though they have the same demeanors, they're not seen as the same. So maybe when they see them, when they're transformed, they literally see, I don't know, somebody with, long golden locks or something like that instead of Utena. But anyways, that aside, yes, even though they have an appearance and they're disguised, it seems like Azul's kind of getting a sense based on how she's touching. It might be Utena. So that'd be interesting. For the first person to possibly figure things out might be Azul, which might be tied into how much they've been emphasizing Azul and Bazer's kind of relationship, and the idea that Azul is seeing her as our mistress. Take care of me, punish me more, I can't be without you. And again, almost giving up on being a magical girl just to be with Baser because of what Baser does to her. It would be interesting to actually have her figure out who Utena is, and then she might not want to reveal that because she likes Utena. She likes Baser. And so she wouldn't want to tell the other magical girls because she wants to keep fighting Baser. And if she reveals Utena's identity, they might stop her or do something worse, take away her ability to transform. So that would actually be an interesting conundrum to get into eventually, is if Azul figures it out, would she even reveal it? Would she leave her identity a secret? Because yes, the other girls have figured things out. Like, yes, technically Utena figured out the identity of Loco and Leberbloom. But between the two factions, that would be an interesting thing to get into. But yeah, this episode got really, really risky with the lower half. They got really, like, on two occasions, they got really, I wouldn't even say borderline. They were literally over that border. For a lot of people, even including myself, I can see that was a lot. I can even admit that was a lot. We got to the point where we're just barely censoring this little area. With that, and later on with Magenta, I was like, holy crap, this episode's just going all out with the lower half, which is typically not a thing. Like, they don't usually get around that area. Usually it's just the top half. But yeah, they were going crazy with that. That was much. But again, it plays into those fingers. Like, she recognizes the fingers. Like, of all things, not like, oh, I recognize the way that she's talking. That stuttery kind of like hesitance with the excitement inside of Utena's voice / Baser. No, that's not what she. That's not what she recognizes. She recognizes her fingers. Though how she was using the fingers, I think in general that the whole scene is kind of a massive question mark. If you're the celebrity magical girl and you're out in the middle of this park and then suddenly you run into a citizen and the citizen wants to give you a massage and then they're suddenly getting up in your business, I think there's something else you need to be worried about. Like Azul's like, huh, that was a little bit weird. Like, no, that was extremely weird. That was extremely weird in public, but we're just not going to address it. It's funny. It's funny. But yeah, that's cuts to them going out to do shopping. We have this little segment with, well, it showed briefly Loco and Leopardbloom as they were going to go out shopping together. And again, that whole segment was kind of different there. They actually went straight to shopping in the manga, and it shows Loco and she's picking out a bikini. And then that goes straight into like this karaoke thing that they end up doing, which again, they skipped. Instead, we jumped way up to way to chapter 42 to see that they're going out shopping with Alice so that she can get some new toys for fighting. At which point we have that little scene running into Haruka, which was sweet. Her little sisters, they're just super cute. They had like each one of the different types. So they had like the upset one, they had the Genki one, and then they had like the neutral one. And then they all kind of respond the same when it comes to toys. But yeah, little cute little scene with them. Oh yeah, and Leopard had a lot of great little scenes in here. When she first sees Haruka and she's got the little sister, she's like, "Oh my gosh, Haruka, did somebody knock you up?" Like, yeah, I haven't seen you in a while, and suddenly you have like 3 girls. This girl Kiwi, she trying so hard to get things to Korishu, and she just never seems to accept it. But then she accepts it in the end, like the transforming thing and the kaiju thing. Eventually, she actually likes it, which she likes it so much that she ends up transforming right when Haruka goes to leave and has a kaiju fight. Like, you have Utena, she's like, you should not do that. They just fixed the town. No, I'm gonna do it. Like, you're not gonna stop me. I want to have a kaiju fight. This girl's like dead set on having a kaiju fight in the middle of the town. Which, yes, when they all show up, she transforms Haruka into magenta, massive magenta, and they have a whole lot fight there. Which, yes, I love the little segment where like Baser's like, oh no, she's in trouble. We really should actually get involved. Yeah, we really should get involved. Let's get inside there. So they just jump in the clothes and starts getting all up inside there. It was great. Then they were just fighting, which they, again, hats off to the actual anime adaptation. They're expanding this stuff like crazy because if I remember correctly in the manga, it's literally just, we need to get involved. And then they just all show up inside of her underwear. That was literally, that's all they did. It was like, boom, they're there. But with the anime, they're actually showing them, you know, essentially Utena and Azul's up here fighting each other, and then down below you have Sulfur and Leopards fighting each other. This, yeah, with the anime they kind of expanded it quite a bit, and it was great because they're like having to grab onto certain things and everything. It's just nuts. The series is absolutely nuts. Yeah, everything before then as well, like this whole concept of her literally fighting into the town and everybody's just taking pictures of skirt shots, which is like literally the same thing that happened before with Magenta and the pasty. Is like she just like reveals herself and then suddenly everybody's just like taking pictures of her, and it's like, this is so bad that the hero of the town is trying to save you all and they're all too busy trying to like embarrass her by taking pictures of her. Like, the mindset of somebody and what they could do with those photos just suddenly overtakes the fact that that person's putting it all out there in order to save them. It's just bad. It's super bad, and I love it. But yeah, it sort of played into a little bit how Alice is sort of going in the same mindset as Baser. Like, the idea that despite the fact that she has this massive kaiju and she transforms Magenta, it's really like where she wants to play with them. And then so when the kaiju actually bites down on Magenta, she's like, oh, it doesn't actually hurt. It just tickles. What the hell are they even doing? Again, it plays into how Alice is on the same page as Baser. It's like, just have fun with them. It's not really to defeat them. Well, it's sort of like defeating, but it's the same kind of thing. But yeah, it wraps it up with the sister saying that they've seen her butt. But she was really cool. Okay, that's all that matters. It was a fun episode. And like I said, I really do hope the last episode had a really solid one. I think it's probably going to be the beach segment. I have no doubts the last episode, because that's a really good way to kind of leave. Typically with a lot of ecchi type series, the beach episode's kind of a good, safe way to conclude things. Plus, it has a nice reveal for Baser, and it's a good wrap-up point. It doesn't really kind of open too much, so it actually worked really well. But yeah, overall, good episode, establishing Baser's new organization of causing mischief for the magical girls, not actually destroying them. Looking forward to more. Really fantastic episode. Again, really do hope that we get an announcement for a second season immediately with the finales airing. Sometimes we'll have like it airs in Japan, and before we even get it over here, there's an announcement because like the end of the episode had it or something like that. I really hope that. Again, I think it's really doing well, so that's my biggest hope there. But we'll have to wait and see. But that's my thoughts on episode 12 of Gushing Over Magic Girls. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, make sure that like button down below, comment. Let me know what you thought of the episode. Additionally, if you're new to the channel, make sure that subscribe button is on my content. I didn't usually use first impressions, top list. If it's anime, it's pretty much here. Additionally, if you like this content and you want to support the channel more, I have Patreon link, tips, links, two things, membership button down below. Greatly appreciate it, but it does. And y'all take care.